Huh. So, I kind of seen two videos that irked me a little bit about this guy who tried to this guy who they say threw a 5-year-old off a 3-floor balcony because he couldn't get women in Baltimore. I mean, in Minnesota. And the narrative is that he don't want to put it he don't it's the same narrative that black women have to take. And these are guys who I thought was kind of red pill, but they're not. And I'm not gonna say their names, but I heard, one guy, one video said beta male savage attempts to kill a 5-year-old at a mall because he can't get women. And he went down a list on you know how weak this guy is. He didn't put in the work. He didn't want to talk to women. But I wanted to ask this guy, like, where are your women at? And the fact is, this guy's not. I mean, if you put him next to, and I'm not trying to talk bad about this guy, but it kind of irked me that he talked bad about this brother, but he didn't try to go to the source. So it's like, it's up to me, who has like lesser subscriber counts than he do, and I don't even get a lot of views on my videos, but people might like my analysts, my when I analyze certain situations. But he never said anything in that video about the mom. See, it all starts with this kid's mom. He's a 24-year-old he's a 24-year-old who pretty much he graduated from Morgan Park High School in Chicago. So that tells me that he lived in Chicago. Either he lived with his dad, they didn't have the kid, I'm just making speculations, or his mom moved in Minnesota for a man. Because they never talked about, I'm trying to find information right now about the mom, but there isn't any information on his mom. They never say about do we have two parents at all. So I'm gonna put this onus on the mom. See, when women go out here and have their dating choices out here, they never really think to themselves that they're gonna have a kid who has mental issues. And this is what he had. He had mental issues. It says in the article all the way down here is that he has a history of mental problems. So it all started with the mom choices in a man. The man had game, but that still don't show his history, his health, his mental health history, and his overall health history. These women never take the due diligence and the vetting process to vet these men to see if these men have history of mental health illness in their families, or if the man has mental health issues, right? They never do that. They only see a superficial thing. So now they're breeding kids who have mental health issues. Because this article said he had mental health issues, a history of mental health issues. And he was arrested several times. So that starts right there before the whole thing about him not getting women, and he did what he did. It was a cowardly act. He should be in jail for the rest of his life. And it's done with. He made his choice. He did what he did. But I'm not gonna put it all on him. That's unfair to this kid to put it all on him. We already see the women making their choices and picking certain men. We don't know if he has both parents or he has just one parent. He graduated in Chicago, but now he's in Minnesota. And that's kind of crazy that he went from being in Chicago all the way to Minnesota. And that's kind of insane because let me try to find something. Yeah, that's insane that he I'm trying to see if I'm correct or not. Cause I don't want to be sitting here doing the wrong thing and then somebody call me out and say some crazy crap. So I'm trying to see it. Like, for him to actually be all the way in Minnesota. Well, while I'm looking for it, that's pretty far to move out all the way from Chicago to Minnesota. So that tells me straight away that it was his mom idea, and she probably did it not to move out of Chicago, but in order to move to get her a white man. Because if anybody know about Minnesota, it's kind of people talk about it how it's saying that it's kind of like the swirling place where it's a lot of white and black men in that place. So somebody probably told her that it was easier to get a man there. And this is speculation. This is not me knowing the whole fact, but this is my take on it. Where she went to Minnesota to try to find a man, and she probably found a couple men, but not enough men to stick. And that itself made him a little bit more unstable, because it's an incident that he had. This is 2007, this is 2002. They ain't said anything about his prior in Chicago. They didn't say anything about him being mentally ill in Chicago. They just said he had mental health issues. They didn't fill in the blanks. So they said that he was previously told to stay away from the mall. So he was just overusing what people was telling him. People said in their videos that he didn't try to take rejection, but he probably went all over the mall asking women out. So where does this come from when that said he didn't try? Because if he was banned to stay away from the mall, that probably had something to do with where all the women came together and said he's creepy, he's weird, and they wanted him to stay out of the mall because he was bothering people. So now that just knocked down one of y'all critiques about this kid by saying that he didn't try to put in the work. Because if it is very hard to get banned from a mall. And I'm trying to see, where is this mall? Mall of America. So we got Mall of America. Because I don't know anything about that. Woo! Mall of America. It's a big mall. So how's it that he got banned from a big mall like Mall of America? This is unusual for anyone to get banned from a mall unless he was trying his best to go find women in the most populated place. Because by your knowledge, by y'all, how can I say it? I'm still looking for it. By y'all words, he wasn't trying. By y'all words, he wasn't doing anything. By y'all analyzing, he didn't try anything. But this mall, I'm trying to see, let me check how many people it holds. I see it's full. This looks like about 100 or 1,000 people who fits in this mall. And they having a cinema. 50, 60 people right here. So let me see how much this place holds. Because for him to get banned from a mall, and especially Mall of America, I mean, it's insane that with all them people, let's see. So, Mall of America employs over 11,000 workers all year round and 13,000 during the peak season. So it's probably the most populated area in Minnesota. But this is what y'all suggested. He took your advice. What y'all didn't acknowledge that he took your advice. He did put the work in. If he got banned, if he got banned from a mall that fits over 11,000 workers, it means that he was actually grinding it out, he was trying to find different types of women, and he was getting rejected. And he was getting rejected a lot. For him to get banned from a big mall like this and to have all these people fit into this, come on. Y'all not acknowledging the fact that he was trying. He just failed so many times. So that's one thing that nobody didn't say anything. And the other thing, like I said, go back to it, is that his mom moved him out of Chicago. And I don't think it was based off how dangerous Chicago was, because they didn't say anything prior to him coming to Minnesota. 2012, it seemed like he didn't really have any problems in Chicago. He probably did have some friends in Chicago, and he got ripped apart from that. So when he came to a new place, he tried to enroll into a college, community college, where he tried to be major in psychology to understand himself. But he didn't put the work in. Are we looking at the same person in the same article? So now you say that he was a beta male, or he was this and that. He was weak, he was black incel and this and that, and he didn't want to change up. But it seemed to me that he took everybody's advice. He was going through all the women in the mall. He was asking 100 women out, just like he was suggesting on that people tell him to do. You don't know if this man was in a gym or not. You don't know if this man was self-improvement and he didn't get the results he wanted. He has mental health issues, and all that stems from his mom conceiving with a guy that she didn't know the background of. See if he had mental health issues, and the family has a history of mental health issues. So she procreated with somebody who had mental health issues, and they created a son who had mental health issues. So it wasn't his fault overall. She obviously, I don't know the story like I said, but probably dragged him to Minnesota for her sake. And he was trying to get himself together to probably go back. But he probably ran into problems in Minnesota that he didn't like. Now, it's instances where he was arrested in a library after destroying multiple computers. So he probably have bipolar disorder. I forgot what else it is. So overall, he wasn't even before he was born, he already had the stacks against him because of his mom's poor choice in a man. But it's supposed to be his fault. I mean, no one called this stuff out. No one called this stuff out. And this is the reason why all these women get to do whatever they want. And they can have as many kids as they want. This ain't the only one. There's plenty of people on here. Plenty of black men this year alone who took out their girlfriends and their girlfriends' kids, and then they took themselves out. There was one on here early this year, in the beginning of this year, where a man shot his girlfriend and shot her son, and then went on Facebook Live and then shot himself. But we talking about self-improvement and working out and all this other bull crap, right? But we're not talking the source of these women and the attitudes they have. As I said before, a woman can have mental health issues and not told that she needs to go before she even thinks about another guy. She needs to clear her mind for at least a year or two before she even thinks about a relationship. She needs to get into a kind of program so she can understand her mental health issues. No one tells a woman that they have mental health issues, but we always got to sit back and tell men to go get a therapist. There's women out here that still hold on to trauma that they didn't fix, and they're never going to fix because men let them go off. Even though you talk to these women all the time and you get whatever you want from them in sex and validation, but you tell men to go get help, but not women. Then you tell men to go self-improve, but you don't do that to women. Huh? I mean, for these men to listen to you, a guy like that, for him to listen to you, right? You had to make sure that he has an incentive. So if this really did work out, and if men like all these people creating these videos about him and his situation, if you would call these women out, then maybe they be in the same gym as these men and they will meet that way. Where two people are self-improvement, one is losing weight, one is gaining weight and gaining muscle mass. And they can meet up in the gym. You can't have men out here being the best version of themselves, as you say, mentally clear and mentally good, physically good, financially good, to date women who are mentally off, physically off, and overall their whole life is off. Because then the man is not going to sit back and deal with that. So now you got the same problem that he had before he went to self-improve. Now he's alone. With all this money he wastes to self-improvement. Funny to me that nobody thinks of that. That there's men out here who did self-improve, but they never find their equivalent. That's somebody who fixed themselves up and self-improved without any mistakes, without any of the bullshit. But we want to sit here and blame the men all the time. The same talking points as women. It's funny to me that nobody calls out fat, ugly women who have guts all over their clothes. They can barely fit in their clothes. But we're not telling that woman, hey. We don't want to see that. Go self-improve so you can look better. We don't tell women to calm down. You're not that attractive. Go self-improve. You have mental health issues. I always hear men telling other men to do this and do that. But you let women get away with more because you're having sex with them, and you know you can stroke their egos and tell them what they want to hear, and that's the problem. These women are told whatever for you to get sex from them, and it makes it harder for the general society to meet those standards. Now men have to fit a certain role in a standard, and women never have to fit that role and standard at all. A man has to have a six-pack. He has to be smart. He has to be educated. He has to have all this money. He has to talk for hours. He has to do all this and do that. And a woman don't have to do shit. She can wear cheap cold makeup, even though she don't look like that in real life. She can be fat and unattractive without going one day in the gym. And it's okay, because she was told by half of you dudes using the game, the dom game, that she was fine because all you wanted was some sexual interaction with this fat chick. So you're the reason why you're a part of the problem as much as these women are part of creating these type of men. Because the more and more you make a woman feel like she's invincible, the more and more the harder it is for her to think anything can hurt her. These women think they're invincible in the dating market, and they pretty much are. So now you got men like this who have outbursts like this, and he's being blamed. Yeah, he did a messed up thing, and I hope the child lives. And he's in jail, and he's never coming out. But let's call it how it is. These are women in America who has super high expectations to meet, where you can't make no mistakes. You got to read off a script. You got to look a particular way. You got to spend hours and hours and hours and do all this and do everything what she wants. These women, ugly, old, fat, disgusting, one eye, no legs, smell like cheese, smell like yogurt, bad yogurt, smell like old hoagies. They can have anything they want, because you got a lot of weak men that pander to them, and they got syndromes, and they got guys out here who tell men to self-improve. So these women don't have no incentive to ever change, because a man self-improves, she can always get the best looking guy. She can always get the hard work a guy has built off of. Instead of telling men to travel more, learn another language, practice FaceTiming women from other cultures, because women in other cultures have a different perspective, and they also want to break from their religion. You know, there's not many women that I met through social media who was in certain countries like Dubai, or I forgot what it's called, Honduras or whatever, and all they had was me to talk to, and they had a window to a window to freedom that they never had before. And I got along with them more than I got along with the women I met face to face, because the women that I met face to face had an expectation and a list of stuff that I had to meet that was unattainable, and it wasn't doable, because I wouldn't be me talking to them. I will be someone that I would have to be a yes man for me to ever get any kind of leeway with these women, because everybody, when they're dealing with women in America, all they have is yes men. And the men who do get away with saying no are the men that they put into a certain category. Those men are allowed to get away with stuff. But the guys who self-improve and do all this crazy stuff and paid a lot of money just to buy into the dating world, they can't make no mistakes. They can't say no. They can't say nothing. All they got to do is say yes, 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 yes. Yes, 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 yes. They have to listen to their boring stories. They have to listen to their idiotic shows. They got to listen to all their stupid music. They got to listen to their cattiness. Them talking about their families. Them doing all crazy stuff. Them wearing outrageous stuff. Them saying outrageous stuff. Them starting with people. This kid right here is a victim. He's a victim of the new age women of society. Pretty much he's a victim of entitled women. He did a messed up thing, but he had mental health issues. So he couldn't grasp in the concept of expanding your options. He was limited because his mind. But that wasn't his fault. It was his mom's choices to have kids with a guy who she checked out early. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see no information on the parent, his mom or his dad. I could be wrong, but I could be wrong about the mom part. But at the same time, even if she did, even if it's two-parent home, does the dad have mental health issues? Because this is a long history of mental health issues. And he was arrested several times. So this wasn't just because he didn't get no women, because he didn't understand the concept of what society is. He didn't understand, and he didn't understand that women don't play fair in the dating world. They don't play fair in America. They don't want men to be organic anymore. Conversation is not organic anymore in America. Dating is not organic anymore. It's synthetic. It's fake. It's a script show. It's a reality show. Women have expectations that every man is supposed to have movie star looks or movie star personalities. They're supposed to be what they see on TV, not what they see in real life. They're supposed to be fit into a certain silhouette that a man's supposed to be. And the men who don't fit the silhouette, they throw men under the bus because the women they do get are not really attractive, but they have to be yes men, because if they're not yes men, they're going to lose their woman, even if she's not attractive. I've seen plenty of guys out here like that. The guys who are walking around with unattractive women, who never got the good looking woman, but they want to sit here and badmouth this kid. But you are not, you don't have a six pack. You didn't try to compete. But you have some nerve to talk about this kid and put him under the bus? Call him beta male and call him an incel? And say that he didn't date on his level? How can you date a woman who don't understand that she's unattractive? How can you date a woman who don't understand that she doesn't deserve the world? How can you ever date a woman who don't know her own limitations and don't know her? She's not self-aware at all. It is hard for a guy to be self-aware, and he's with a woman who's very unattractive, but she's not self-aware that she doesn't meet the expectations. Why? Because guys like you guys who tell other guys to self-improve, she has the ability to jump in different categories. She can grab the good-looking guy for one night and feel like she's on top of the world. But the man can't do that. You made it so hard for men to ever find someone they really want. But you gave women the free reign to date who they want, not be asked, not be told that they have limitations. Because the men who are the top echelon, the 20%, they go down and dabble into the unattractive bends of women. They go have sex with the women because they could get money from them. These are the same guys who say they got game and swag, but they got to swindle unattractive women and make these women feel good. So they fucked the dating system up more than it was. So now these women think that because an attractive man gave them attention and sex, that now everybody else that can't beat this guy in looks and sex is below her. But a unattractive man can't do the same. He has to self-improve. He has to do 1,000 things before he can ever get to this ugly ass woman with a huge ego. We need to teach men like this, that did this reckless, shitty thing, alternatives. We need to make certain places where guys like this can find women that not only on their level, but also so they don't do this. They need experience of harnessing the new age technology and being able to adapt in this modern time, and being patient instead of doing something like this and this kid being a tool of YouTubers saying how he this and that and using it against black incels or saying beta male and saying all this crazy shit about him when you ain't really been the source. You the reason why these guys feel left out. Because these men would go to these women who are unattractive because they can't do nothing else. But these fat unattractive women, they got the illusion that they don't need the unattractive male. This is why you never see fat women pursue fat men. This is why you never see mentally ill women pursue mentally ill men. This is why you never see ugly women pursue ugly men. You never see socially awkward women pursue socially awkward men. because you gave them a pass and a freedom to be able to jump levels in society, jump levels in looks. They can grab any high-end men they want for a day or for two, for a night. And with that access to these guys, they're able to feel like that they are too good for these men. And the men see this shit and say, we both the same. And I'm told that I need to be with you, but I can't be with a woman like this. Cause she thinks she thinks she's better than me. It's a turn off for these men to be with a woman who looks like them, who has the same looks as them, but think they're better than them because they had the chance to date up levels, have sex with better looking people than themselves. But you want to blame it all on men. Men should self-improve. No, you should stay on your goal. You should stay in your level. You should not date these women. See, if you stayed away from these unattractive women and gave these and froze these women out, they would have no choice but to date the men on their level. This is all your fault. It's not this kid's fault. Your fault. For dipping your hands in the ugly jar and thinking that the ugly men is going to come right after you and be satisfied with no cookies in the ugly jar. You created this shit. It's problematic now. And this is the results of advice givers, PUAs, the so-called jawline niggas, all the guys who are at this level of highest level of accessibility to women. It's your fault for not controlling yourselves. Now the dating world is so upside down that things like this is happening. Women are running amok and they're creating men like this. No man should run up a hill and run up in a mountain and stay on top of that mountain for as long as he can and then say, I'm waiting for another woman to climb this mountain with me. Because most of the time, that's what self-improvement really is you climbing the tallest mountain and you stand on top of that mountain. You waiting for a woman to meet that same standard that you had to put into. And then you see that they all have something wrong with them. You fixed everything that was wrong with you, but they didn't. They didn't. You had 100% in body, mind, and spirit, and financial, and she's all over the place. Her mind is 5%. Her financial is 10%. A man supposed to do all this self-improvement for all these for a woman who's never gonna match him? There's too much imbalance out here.